Hey guys, I'm Uduak-Afangide, and this is my very first periscope. I'm excited about it, nervous at the same time, but I'm glad that you guys are on here. Hey Salem, I'm so glad that you could join me. Oh, amazing. Thank you, Laura. Good morning. Good to see everyone. So since this is my first periscope, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I am Uduak, like I said already, and my mission is to inspire faith-based women to form meaningful relationships with each other, to share their lives by sharing their stories. I am an author. I've written a book, Sister to Sister, Inspiring Stories of How God Transforms Ordinary Men Today. It's been on the market for a couple of years, and I have enjoyed going around with the book and talking to women and finding out that we are encouraged by reading other people's stories. You know, the idea behind the book was the fact that we read about Christian women. We read about women in the Bible, the faith struggles they had, the things that they passed through. But we've heard these all our lives. And after a while, these stories appear more like fables. But living among us today are women who are facing a lot of struggles, and they are standing strong. And so I felt led by the Spirit to tell the stories of these women. And that began a 2-year journey going around the country, traveling overseas, meeting women, telling their stories. But anyway, so that's who I am. I've started traveling with the book, and that's my life as an author and as a speaker. But a few years ago, I started realizing that we are not living in community. That for some reason, and there's a lot of reasons for this, but many of us live isolated lives. And it's always been intriguing to me that in spite of these days where the world is a global village, we all hear that, and you could connect with people in seconds, and you have a lot of friends on Facebook, but there are very few deep, meaningful relationships. And so I think that even though we have reasons to be isolated, we think about safety, think about the fact that you don't want everybody in on my life and what's going on in my life, but I think the devil uses that. And so we end up feeling isolated, living in isolation, being totally disconnected from people around us. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But I think that if we think back to the good old days, and maybe it's easier for me because I come from Africa. And in Africa, you know what they say, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, that's how it is. We live in community. And, I think even in America, I hear people talk about the good old days where you sat on the front porch and you talked with your neighbors. You knew who your neighbors were. But now we're inside. We don't know who our neighbors are. We have more friends on Facebook than we have face-to-face relationships. And I believe that that's not how it's supposed to be. I believe that we are supposed to form meaningful relationships. And so I'm starting this big spiel about doing life together. What is it going to take for us as faith-based women to reach out, connect with each other, form meaningful relationships? And so I started saying, oh yeah, hey Christina, yeah, I think you're right. Things are changing, but would you agree that there is a need to form meaningful relationships? Surely, you're right. There are going to be people that are going to stab you in the back. Hi, Israel. Hi, Elias. I'm so glad that you guys are on here. Yes, and
Stop and do the real thing.
what?
Stop and do the real thing.
No, it's at 12:30. I'm not going to start now.
Well, yeah, so stop. Like, you're gonna make yourself super nervous.
No. So, anywho.
I thought this was live. I was like, she's not on there. Where's she coming
And I was like, I don't know what she's seeing.
So anyways, we're talking about this. There is a need to form meaningful relationships. And so what I think is the first step for me, ask God to place people on your hearts that he wants you to connect with. I was listening to Melissa Harris yesterday on her Periscope, and she was talking about tribes, talking about who are those that should be in your tribe. And I thought that is so appropriate because the people in your tribe are people that you connect with. And so the first thing is ask the Lord, who are people that you want me to form meaningful relationships with? And then the second question would be, what does the meaningful relationships look like? Yeah, you're right. Maybe that should be the first question. What does meaningful relationships look like? And I think meaningful relationships are supportive. Meaningful relationships are those that are encouraging, not people that are going to put you down, not people that are going to look for pulling you down, but people that are going to hold you up, people that are going to give you ideas, people that you can bounce ideas off, people that will see you at your weakest and hold you up. And so when you have an idea of this is what a meaningful relationship would look like, then ask the Lord to place people on your heart that he would want you to form those relationships with. And they're not necessarily going to be people in your stage of life. They're going to be people, not necessarily people that are like you, but people that are different. God will use those people to bless you. And I'm thinking as we form these relationships, there are different kinds of relationships. There would be a relationship in which you are a mentor And so you're looking for people that you can reach out to and people that you can mentor, people that you can help on their own faith journey, their own life journey through the different stages of life because of the things that you've been through. But that's not the only meaningful relationship. We could form meaningful relationships with people that we need their wisdom, that people who've been through things that we've been through, and all we have to do is reach out to them and learn from them, as well as people that can use our wisdom. So I guess, I'm not going to make this long at all, but I just want to get our minds thinking about forming meaningful relationships, doing life together, living lives that are connected. And next week when I come on, I'm going to talk about the Jesus model of doing life together. But I want us to keep thinking, I don't want to do life alone. As I go into 2016, I need more in my circle of women that I can reach out to, that I can depend on, that I can lean on. And I know in a busy world where we're busy doing so many things, it's hard to form those relationships. But I believe those relationships are essential as I try to live a holistic life in 2016. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I guess I'm not quite as nervous as I was when I started, but it's my very first Periscope. I look forward to seeing you next week, Monday, lunchtime, 12:30. Let's bounce ideas together. Let's see, what does it really mean to do life together? Thank you, everyone. Okay. Any questions? Anything anybody else wants to say? Well, if not, thank you for the hearts. Thank you for reaching out, joining me on Periscope today. Okay. Have a nice Christmas. Bye-bye. Oh, do you say bye-bye?